So welcome to our TokenMinds Academy Lesson 3. This is under NFT Marketing topic. So this is Lesson 3 for NFT Marketing topic, which is Discord Masterclass. This is an advanced Discord server setup. This is more on the actual configurations that you will need to put in your server. And then, for example, you are about to set up some bots, the how-to, specific how-to. So in the previous lesson, I've mentioned the suggested channels and how to create these channels, roles, etc. So these are the basic ones. But now we will move further to the next topics, which are more advanced. All right. So before we start, Token Minds history. So Token Minds is a full service Web3 agency. So here together with Mr. Anchor Chan, who's been here with the company. So they started Token Minds since 2016. So they have worked with more than 100 crypto and now NFT projects. So before, of course, there's no NFTs yet. So there are more on IEO, IDOs, ICOs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
crypto
thank you
tokens.
everyone. I think some of you already, right, we talked together in last two sessions. Nice to meet you again. Yeah, we actually started like 6 years ago, so it's not only NFT, but for sure this focus on these 2 years be more like NFT, those can GameFi. Before that, it was mainly for IU and IDO. So yeah, really nice to see you join. Thank you.
Yep. So yeah, this is Sir Anchor. So as for me, my name is Chris. So I'm the community lead for Token Mind. So I'm handling different communities for our different clients. And part of our task in the community management is actually setting up this Discord servers for them. All right. Okay, so with setting up Discord server, so if you are somebody who would want to know more about how we actually do these things, and if you, example, you've seen a feature in one of the Discord servers, and you said to yourself like, "Oh, how did they do that? Seems like a nice feature in Discord." So here, I will be tackling in this two-part seminar with regards to the advanced server setup. So today is the first part that we will be covering. Right? So this is mostly on the configurations of the servers and some bot configurations as well. Okay, so if you've missed the previous topic, I suggest you can review. You check the Token Minds Academy forum channel for my forum post. Okay, with the copies of the previous lessons. Okay, so there's the basic Discord server setup lesson that we've had last week. You can review that, but then this is for the advanced. Okay. So Discord configuration, of course, you start, example, you already created your server, you set up your Discord server in regards to its general settings. So this is how you do it. You right click. Wait, let's do it again. Sorry. Yeah. You right click on top and then server settings, and that's it. Okay, so for the suggested server configuration, as I'll explain what does these things mean one by one and why do we set it up this way. Okay, so this is just from based on my preference and uh, experience. So I'm not saying this is the best thing to do, yeah, but I just suggest it things here in a way that I set up servers. All right. So number one, this one, of course, the system messages channel. You can actually put it in any text channel that you prefer. For example, there are servers system settings or system messages. But then for me, I don't like these things. Like for example, when Discord gives some updates, so I don't like to see this. So here, for example, on a normal server, you see welcome messages like, hey, a random carrot has appeared, something like that, or random barbacusi has appeared, something like that. So I don't like these messages. I'll disable this one. But then there is a welcome message that you can utilize actually with a bot. It looks better, and then you can even design it just to welcome the newcomers in your server. So yeah, we disable this one and we utilize that one, which I'll be discussing later on. Then prompt servers to reply, this is also disabled because it's kind of spammy. Like this will be the wave sticker, when someone comes in. So if there are thousands of members coming into your server, At the same time, that will be bad. So it's kind of looks spammy. So I don't set it up that way. Then, of course, to highlight members who, actually contributes to the server by simply boosting it, we highlight them. So we send them this message when someone boosts a server. Then send helpful tips for the server setup. For example, me, I'm already knowledgeable with regards to server setup, etc. I don't need these helpful tips. I'm actually the one giving the tips, so I disable it. But then this one is really important with the server general settings, default notification settings. So initially, this is set to all messages. So I suggest you put it on only at mentions. Why? The primary reason is that, it's like on Facebook. If someone sends a message here on Discord, it will actually notify everyone. So imagine there's 1,000 of messages per day on your Discord since it's very active. So it will be spammy in terms of the notifications if you enable all messages. So I highly suggest this is only at mentions because people would relatively just mute your server if you set this to all messages. Okay. Then with regards to these things, display show progress boost bar, I don't usually show it, but you can actually enable it just if you want to see the progress of the boost levels. With regards to the perks of the boost levels that you can use, so for example, you've boosted your server to at least level 2 or here level 1, okay? So you can actually put up server banner background. So server banner background is the one at the background of the name of the server on the upper left. So sometimes you see animated graphics, right? So you can actually do that by performing server boost and then uploading here. With server invites, so example, you sent a link for the server invite to your server and then they utilize that link and clicked it. They will come to a landing page on a browser. Then the server invite background is the one or the image that you've put here. Okay. And then sometimes, of course, you can see discord.gg slash the server name. So sometimes you see those kinds of links. That's actually a function, a perk coming in from server boost level 3. So this is a custom invite link. So like, for example, if you don't have a server boost in your server, naturally when you generate an invite link, you can get it only a random word or random letter link, right? So it's better. Example, your project name is Barbacusi. You just put discord.gg slash Barbacusi. People will definitely know and remember the invite link. And if they want to invite their friends, oh yeah, just type discord.gg slash this one. Okay. So that's better than the others. But then, of course, this is not needed, but just suggested because it entails some cost if you maintain your server at level 3. Okay. So if you want to know different perks of server boost apart from those, these are the ones listed here. You can always check this one on Discord. But with project of our clients, we usually tell them, yeah, you can get this server boost because this has relatively nice perks. Like, for example, this audio quality. If you are always prone to doing Twitter spaces and discussion webinars like this one in your server, or you usually do some hosting on voice channels, this is relatively suggested. And then, of course, these things like the custom invite link is really good, especially for marketing side, because this is a permanent link as long as you retain your server boost and you can customize the link as well. So people will easily remember the link to your website. Okay. Then safety setup. Okay, so is as safe as a server admin, this is primarily needed to identify the level of your safety levels. Of course, there's a balance. There should be a balance between super strict security and then being being helpful or being friendly to new guys on Discord because not everyone is really uh, easily catching up when in terms of the knowledge of using Discord at the first time. So, for example, here, I usually set it up to medium. So, this means that, for example, someone joins into your server, they cannot chat and send messages in text channels if their account is not longer than 5 minutes. So actually, this is just a basic level of safety. There can be more. Like for example, me, I utilize bots just to enable chatting or even kick members whose number of age of the day in terms of days of their accounts in Discord are less than, for example, 1 day, I will kick them automatically. So there are also bots doing like that, which I will be discussing later on. Okay. So, but then with the most basic security type, you can always use this one. So depends on you. So if you want it that they have the highest, so it should have a verified phone on their Discord account. So this can somehow reduce the infiltration of bots in your server. Okay, but then if you're someone like some other communities, they even welcome bots in the first place because they want the numbers to go high, then they'll just remove them right afterwards. They also tend to do that, so they lower the levels from for the meantime, but then right after they just remove them. So, but then I don't suggest that because it if your server security is not that good, there can be some things that could be happening that's not good to your project. Then, of course, this one, explicit media content filter, I always recommend to scan media from all members. And then there's an option also on Discord if you want. Example, you get moderators for your server coming in from community members, and of course, you need to ensure that your server is safe. And even if these guys have been hacked, you will be sure that the server will not be compromised. So you can ask them to, and you will enable them the two-factor authentication. And then, if example someone got hacked, someone moderate like this moderator got hacked, in order to do the moderation actions like kicking, banning, or deleting message, they need to confirm with the two-factor authentication code coming from their phone. So, but then for us, it's relatively hard to do this 2FA. So depends on you if you want to enable it or not. Okay. Alright. Okay. So and then this one, this is called the community setup feature. Golda, can you mute first? Okay, so this is how you set up. I usually advise server owners to set their community server. So if you create a server on Discord, you can always set it as a community server. So this is how you do it with. There is that. Okay. So just on the enable community, you click on community and then enable this one if you have not yet. Then click next and set up your rules or guidelines channel. Usually, when you create it already, you select it. But if not, you just select create one for me. Okay, and then this one is really important. Remove moderation permissions from everyone. So you clear their roles and their permissions. You set it up properly later on. So with the setup of the permissions, I'll discuss it later in a more specific way. Okay. So what is it that you can do with community settings? You can, if you see that welcome screen when you come in, right? Do these things before doing anything else in your server. So this is actually with the welcome screen. So you can do these things like this one. I want them to verify, then I tell them also to read the rules. So this is what it looks like. Okay. So that's the first thing that the people see when they come into your server. And with the community function enabled, you will also be able to see your server insights, like the data analytics of your server. So it's really mandatory for me to enable this one if you're creating a community for your project. Okay. Okay, so next, let's discuss this setting up permissions. This is one of the most important. So as I said, we create roles and then these roles are being used to limit the functionalities that each member in the community can use, right? So this is where I will discuss to you the suggested cut configurations for this permission. So there are two types of permissions. There is a so-called server level permissions and then channel level permissions. So I'll discuss how I set up these permissions to you so you would understand what could be a nice practice. I am not saying this is the best one, but what could be a nice practice in setting up permissions for the server and what's the easy way. Okay. Okay. So what is server level permissions? It's based on a role actually. So for example, this is the what you call initial permissions of a role. So for example, here everyone we remove all their permissions with verified member, we remove it also. So what will happen? They cannot see, right? But then I'll discuss later on why we are doing this one. So this is server level permission based on the role, but with channel level permission, it's specific to a channel or a category. Okay. So for this one, channel level, you identify usually what are the roles that are able to see or post view on this channel. Even on voice channels, what are the roles that can speak, what are the roles who cannot speak, etc. Okay. So usually what I do, because this is quite, needing some standard practice or standard guidelines. Okay, so initially at first I remove all server level permissions. So I clear all permissions as I've showed you earlier. So clear everything for everyone, and then as I mentioned in the previous training for the basic, so I suggested some of the roles that you will be creating. If example you are an admin, so for me example I am a server admin, I create the following roles. So for example, this one is everyone, so this is the people without roles. And then for verified members, for example, we do server verification first, right? So at first you don't see anything. So and then when you do the verification, you can see everything. So this is the main role given to everyone who performs that. So that's the members. And then Jainan, can you mute first? Yeah. Okay. So with others, these are what I call VIP roles. So holders, OGs, or whitelist members. So this will be tackled later. But then these are the main roles in a server. One, you have four moderators. Another one, I usually set up for the bots. Okay. Then other one for the core team. Wait. Okay. And other one for the admin, like me, and then the server owner. Okay. So with the general server permissions, I usually set this up. Of course, the server owner is able to do anything and the admin. So, but then, usually what happens with our setup is it's only me because I'm the community lead. So I'm the head admin. So what I want to do is that I am the one who has in full control apart from the server owner. And then with the core team as well, so I don't usually give them all the rights because as an admin, of course, I wanted that I am the only one who change channels, adds channels, deletes channels, etc. So I just give them the view channel rights, manage roles if they want to add roles to certain members, and then they manage emoji stickers. Just if example they want to add emoji stickers and view audit log just in case they want to check on something that we did. Okay, so the audit log is the report within Discord that shows you what people or the managers or admins did in the server. And then this one, of course, the create invites, change nicknames, everything is available with regards to membership permissions from server owner to the core team and also the bots because some of the bots can kick like moderation and security bots, they should be allowed to kick ban timeout members. Okay. With the moderators, I set it up. If you are a guy who is a project owner, then the admin is your moderator itself. You can always enable these managed channels and other managed things. But if not, so their mere role is to perform moderation in your server and not perform any changes in the server. So it's only the admin to do that. So I do these things. So they cannot manage the channels. They cannot manage emoji stickers, view these things with regards to the server permissions. But then they can perform their moderation roles. Okay. So with this one, these are the server level permissions that I initially put for the core roles. But then with this one, like this VIP roles and this verified roles, I usually set it up on the channel level permissions. Okay, so here I remove all the permissions that they have. Okay, and then in the uh, wait, we're still on the server level permission. Sorry. So later I'll discuss the channel level permissions. Okay. So here server level permissions is still the same with regards to sending messages, etc. So these are generally available to all of the core team apart from the bot. So I don't usually put mention here everyone here at all roles for bots and also send text to speech messages because these are not functions that a Discord bot which is usually that they need. So they don't need this function, so I don't put it. But with regards to adding reactions, creating messages, sending messages using application commands, I also put it here. Okay, as usual, the moderators can perform all these things. Like example, our moderator can announce and mention everyone. Okay, but then still depends on you. If you want, it's just the core team and the admins to perform the mentioning. It's okay. So, but then with our setup, this is what we usually do. Okay, and then this one still channel based permission only, which I'll discuss later. With the voice channels, yes, they can do everything, server owner, admin, core team, but then the bot should not be. So why is it that we enable speaking for bot? Because we have a bot for music. We also have some different bots which uses some activities. So if you have this in your server, of course you will be needing them to be able to connect to the voice channels. Like for example, here we have here a music bot called Hydra, so that is made to play music, etc. upon the command of a user or a member. So it needs to be enabled. Okay, for the moderators, I enabled this also. Example, they can kick people who are spamming in the voice channel, and are swearing. They can also mute. Okay, and then with regards to the events, what is an events permission? This is the one you're seeing on the upper left right now. So it says here live now in our Discord. So Discord Masterclass, Advanced Discord server. So means if you check this one, the server owner, admin, moderators can create these events and then they can make it live and then they can delete it afterwards. Okay. With the administrator, this is like the whole thing, the whole permission. So you're granting them the whole of the permission. So usually this is for the server owner initially and then the head admin. But then if you are a project that assigns one of his moderators to do the admin works, of course he can give them. But then make sure that you trust this admin because they can do anything with your servers. But then if not, or sometimes these admins become careless, they could get hacked. So the server becomes compromised. So this is something you should also watch out because this is a really dangerous permission. They can do everything with regards to your server. They can even delete your server if they want. Okay. So this is only limited to these people. Okay. But if you utilize your one of your moderators to perform the admin role, so you just give them the admin role and then give them these rights. Okay. So naturally for the others, they are not allowed. Okay. So I've said I'll discuss later the channel level permissions. So I would like to refresh you on the basic Discord server setup. So these are the suggested categories and channels for Web3 projects that we create. So we have this getting started, information about the project, and news and updates with regards to the crypto, to the project, to the tweets that they have, and then the community, then channels for exclusive holders or exclusive roles, these forums, events, and games, so etc. Okay, so with this, I'll discuss the suggested permissions for this one and why would we do these things in these channels. All right. Okay, so let's. Oh, can you see it? Okay, so with regards to channel level permissions, okay, so this is for a member, okay, because with the setup, the member, this one, member, everyone, so everyone, we remove everyone's roles. With the members, this is a main channel, so meaning everyone who successfully comes into your server should have this main role, and then they will just get these special roles if they, example, they get whitelisted or they become OG or they bought your NFT, they become holders. This will be just be added on top of this base role. So this base role is like the foundation role for everyone. So everyone would be able to see based on the member role as a baseline. So what I usually set up is the member role. Okay. So these are the server permissions for member roles. For example, general server permissions. So for the server info, these are created by you and the server stats bot. So usually what you want them to be able to do is just be able to view all the channels, right? That are for the public viewing. So here we enable all view channels as a base. But then the managed channels, more on doing the server configuration or channel configuration. Of course, as a normal member, you don't want them to have these rights in all the channels, all right? But then you want them to be able to create their own invites as well. So you can promote your server growth. Okay, then with the membership permission, of course, like example, uh, Neil, I don't want him to be able to change the nickname of another guy. So because I don't want them to be able to change anything in the server with regards to the configuration or the server's community members' names. Then I don't want them to be able to kick as well. Okay, so with all these things, I only enable view channels and create invite. So for all the channels that I've listed down for normal members. Okay. So what happens? Just a question. Maybe you are asking, what happens to the moderators, bots, core team, etc., server owner, right? So, but then in Discord, right, if you create a channel initially, it will be set up to a gray icon at the middle, set at the middle, so that when you click it to the left, it becomes disabled. If you enable it, if it goes to the right. So if it's in the middle, what does that mean? So when I was a beginner in Discord setup, I'm really confused. What does being at the middle mean in terms of the server permission? So it actually means it will just follow, for example, with the moderators, at by default, it will follow the server level permissions for these channels if it's not channel specified. So meaning by default, it will follow for these roles for the all channels this setup. So it should be fine. So here you just with the channel level permissions, you just input the specific changes in comparison to the server level permission. So for example here, we did not set up the members, right? So their default is they are not allowed. So here with the channel you can change. Okay, but you no longer need to press one by one and reject the server level permission for these things because you just leave it at the middle. You leave it by default. So that's why you utilize these server level permissions. Then you just change those with those who are not the same with the server level permissions. Like for this one, you want them to be able to view the channels, you just enable it. So that's easier than having to do all these things one by one, right? So you just leave with those with the X. Of course, you set it up at default X. You don't allow them. So you just leave it as it is at the middle. You no longer need to put it at the right for each server permission. So with those change, it's easier to set up per channel. Just check this one for this role, etc. Okay. So if you are not familiar yet with the Discord channel permissions, I've discussed that in the basic. So that's why this is more advanced. This is more on the actual setup. Okay. With the text channel permission, okay. So with the server info, minting info, get started channels, information channels, announcements channels, these are relatively non-public channels or categories. Okay. So people, you don't expect them and you would not allow them to send messages. Okay. At the very base. Then you don't allow them to create threads and send messages in threads. Then with this embed links, what is this is something that people setting server really gets confused of. So with embed links, it does not mean that if you set it to X, it does not mean that you will be able to block people from sending links. It's not. Embed links basically just means, for example, you see in the server there are embedded messages. When you send your links, it shows up the embedded messages, for example, Twitter, etc. If you just disable this one, it will hide that one. So that's what it means. But it's not necessarily that it will block the sending of the link. So when I was new, I thought if I sent this to X, this will be blocking the server links being sent in my server, but it's not. So you use bots to block links and not use this. Okay. With attached files, of course, you cannot attach pictures, any files if you put here X. Okay. And then add reactions. Example, you have messages in about us, roadmap, official links, which usually these things in any server, you don't usually feel like there should be reactions coming in from the server community members. So you just disable that. But then, for example, sneak peeks, announcements, community alerts, of course, these things create some hype within the server, right? For Web3 projects. So you enable the add reaction so people can react with emojis or emoticons in every announcement, in every community alert, so that there would be some kind of engagement as well coming from there. With use external emoji, okay, so there can be an option for you to enable this, but for me, I don't. So this means that aside from the emojis located at the very base of Discord for the emojis, and if you created some custom server emojis in your own project, they cannot use any other emoji than that. For example, you don't want to see some other projects emojis from their server, so you don't allow it here. But then in general chat, wherein this is usually the community or the public chats that we have, public channels, we enable those things. And also the external stickers. Okay. But with the others, usually I don't. But it's up to you. Okay, so if you still want to see some other emojis coming from other servers or stickers coming from other servers, it should be fine with you. You can always enable this one. Okay. But then this one, mention everyone here, all roles. Why is this one disabled? Because you want to avoid people who are non part of the team, not part of the project, to mention everyone, because this is actually a server security feature. Like, you disable this so that people cannot spam other people within the server. Example, my only goal in joining the server is to promote my own server or promote my own project. So I will tag everyone if this is enabled. So that's something you do not want for your community members to see spam links or spam invites or spam messages that tags them. So if you, example, in the general setup, right, I told you to just create a notification if someone mentions you or mentions only. So when they see that there's a useless message that message mentioned them, so it's still a spam. So it defeats the purpose. So if there are people who just tends to look at the notifications, so you want them to see only this very important messages such as announcements with regards to the project, etc. Okay. With the managed messages, this is and managed threads, this is simply a role that I give or a permission that I give to the moderators because they can delete messages, etc. So this is something that a normal member should not be able to use. Okay. With read message history, of course, this just means that if a message was posted before these certain members or like these roles have joined in the Discord, they can still see the previous messages. Okay. So of course, for example, for the text channels that we have where we usually put some contents, we want people to see what we posted before. Okay. So we enable this read message history. Okay. Send text to speech messages and application commands. So usually for send text to speech messages, I don't usually enable this one, but if you want, you can do so. There's no harm in that. Okay. But for use application commands, this usually example, someone knows the command to the bot. They can type here or not. So this is what it means. So for me, I usually assign bot channels, specific bot channels, just to make the server clean. Like for example, I don't want them to type server invite or levels command for the bot in the general channel. So I want them to type that in the invite tracker channel or the ranking channel. So I disable this application command in the normal or the public chats and the other base channels with regards to spreading project information. Okay. With this one, voice channel permissions here. So we, of course, with this text channels, for example here, get started, information, news, updates, community, I disable this one because they are not utilizing any voice channel. But here, these are voice channels actually, the server info wherein you see the members count, etc. and the project website. We utilize a voice channel just because if you use a text channel, you cannot put some space. So you see in the servers, right? If the name of the channel are two words, it has a dash in between. So that's because it's a text channel, it does not enable any space. But if a voice channel, you can actually name it with a space. So that's why with the server stats like members count, the website, etc. And then, for example, you have already the minting information. We usually put it on the topmost of the server and then use voice channels that are locked. So the primary purpose of these voice channels is just for label, you know. So no, not needing to be any connection here because we have voice channels for that. Okay. Where are we? Okay. Okay. So here for the next channel, so for example here the VIP, so which are mainly for whitelist, OG or holders. So if you create these things, and then the forum channels, voice channels that we are currently using, and then if you have sales channel wherein you put sales bots that show the sales of your NFTs. And then the support ticket channels and support channels and event end games. So these are my setup just to share. So of course, with the normal member, they should not be able to see and send messages or even create invites in the VIP channels like channels for OG, whitelists, or holders. Okay. So I don't give them any permission with that. And with the forum channels, of course, you want them to be able, the verified members, people with verified member role, you want them to be able to view the channels and create invites. But then with regards to other general server permissions and membership permissions, these are more for admin work or moderator, so you don't give them these rights. Okay, same with the voice channel, sales support, the tickets, and the events. Okay. But then with, of course, with in terms of the text channel permissions, okay, so still with the VIP, the normal verified members cannot. Then the forum channels, of course, you want them to be able to send messages. Okay, then send messages, send message threads. But then this one, create public threads. This is actually not the forum thread. So this is just a thread, the previous feature of Discord. So I don't enable this one. But then with this one, they can still create topics for the forums. So it should be fine. Then embed links, attach files, add reaction, this one, these things. Yeah, I enable it to public channels like this one, forum channels. And voice channels, you still enable. Why? Because as you know, the voice channels have their own voice channel chat channels inside it. So should be fine that they will be able to use these things. Okay. But then I disabled for the music command channel, wherein the sole purpose of this channel is uh to where you type the commands for the music bot. So you don't need links there or attach files there. Okay, so that's it. So I enable these things. Mention, of course, and manage messages threads. It's not allowed. Read message history. It's allowed, except for the holders or the OG whitelist channels, the VIP channels. Send text to speech and application commands. For application commands, I only enable it on channels with bots. Like example, this music command, wherein we have reception for the commands of the music bot. Okay, and then example, this one, invite tracker and ranking. So this is where people can check who has been the leaders in ranking and the invite. So they should be able to use the bot commands here. And for example, for game bots like Gartic Royale, Rumble Royale, Gartic Bot and Rumble Royale channels, they should also be able to use commands. Okay. Then yeah, they should be able to send messages on these public channels, except sales. Of course, you only put here the bot to send the messages. So this is all disabled. They should be able to read only here. With the ticket support, there's a separate ticket that's being created when you click on the button in the ticket support bot in ticket support channel. So these functions are not needed in those channels because you don't want people to be sending their messages in this ticket support channel. But then, of course, when they create ticket, like for example, a support ticket or a collab ticket, which I usually differentiate, they should be able to send messages. Okay. But then I don't usually let them, attach files, embed links, because some, they just promote some spams here, etc. So I just want them to type, because if not, some bots are able to just spam and send these files or with spam embeds. So I don't usually let them. Okay. With the Rumble Royale events chat, events voice channel or AMA stage, I allow people to send messages, yeah, attach files, links, and add reactions and read message history so they see the previous chats. Okay. Okay. So yeah, for the last, for the channel level permissions, this is more on the voice channels in the event stage. So of course, with the text channels, you don't allow any of this, and with the voice, you enable it. So very basic. But then you don't give them the normal members, a priority speaker, mute, etc. Then these permissions, because these are more for admins. Then for events and games, of course, you want people to be able to participate in events, voice channels, or AMA stage from time to time. So you should enable these functions on those channels. Okay. So here we just identified all the channel and server level permissions. So it's important that you identify the permissions per channel. So it's suggested that if example you are creating a server or you're an admin, you create such file for yourself. And then because sometimes, okay, for this project, the client, for example, they want to be able to do these things. So you can always change, and then you can reflect in your server, because it's really hard if you don't have this one and you don't memorize yet the settings that you always do. So there will be differences in the servers that you set up, etc. So standardization is the key. So this is why I usually put these things. Okay. But then, of course, this is not the perfect setup. You can always change according to your needs and wants. But of course, always keep in mind, why did you put these settings in the first place? Why Discord set this up? So you should be able to identify the differences of each permissions, because if not, you may be prone to some security problems because you perform the configuration improperly. Okay. So yeah, don't worry guys. So if some of you finds this really fast because you're not yet familiar with these things, etc. We are actually recording this course, so you can always come back and rewind things you don't understand much. Okay. So next, we will discuss. Yeah, I thought so. So I really thought that this course will be long discussion. That's why I divided this session to two parts. So yeah, now let's move to bots on Discord server. Okay. So I have identified these kinds of bots in the previous course, in the basic course that we've had last week. Okay, so moderation, music, social media RSS feed, fun, and utility. So for today, so I'll just limit the discussion until the moderation and security setup. Okay, so we will just tackle the other setup and configuration for the other bots on the next week's Discord Advanced Server Setup seminar. Okay. Okay. So number one, really important. Okay. So wait, I've listed these things that are really needed for the servers, right? So of course you identify what are the bots you want to use for this type of bots in the Discord. So number one, where would you look for these bots? Okay, so usually for me, I look and research for the nice bots in top.gg, and then I check for the reviews, etc. Okay, so you can type here, like example here, security. So you just select from this ones. There's a review, the vote, upvote, etc. here with the stars as well, and then the number of users who actually use this one. So you can see the trusted ones from the non-trusted ones. Then you can always check the reviews on YouTube, etc. So then the other bots or servers that you find in different communities, you can always take note as well. And if you deem that, oh, this is a nice bot, I like this, so you can always take note and use that one. Okay. But for here, in this seminar, of course, we've identified some of my suggested bots. Okay, so here I usually suggest this one, Mi6 Premium. Okay, and then Sledgehammer, Pandes Guard, and Wick. So this Dino is an alternative to Mi6 in all of its all-around functionality. And with Good Night, it's also a nice bot for server security. But for me personally, I like Mi6 Premium, Sledgehammer, or Pandas Guard, and most especially Wick. This is a really high standard and advanced server bot for security. Okay, so Mi6. So let's just discuss Mi6. Mi6 is an all-around bot. So these are the things that I usually utilize for Mi6. So number one is a custom bot. So here on TokenMinds, if you see the Tomi bot, so this is actually a Mi6 premium bot. Okay, so it has its own picture, it has its own name, and not the usual Mi6 name. All right. So welcome messages, as I've mentioned, I disabled the general server setting for welcome message, and wanted to utilize from time to time the Mi6 welcome message function, which I'll show later. Then if you see some verification gating wherein the server tells you, okay, click on this emoji, react on this emoji to gain access to the server. This is actually a function of Me6. This is the reaction roles. Okay. And then the embeds, if you see the beautiful contents with boxes for some announcements, for some information regarding the project, you can check in the About Us section or the rules section of TokenMinds server for these samples for the embeds. This is a function of Me6 that I've been using as well. Okay. Then social media integration, like direct reposting into your Discord server, real-time reposting. I also use this one. So example, Twitter integration. And then the levels, this is the favorite of some people who are keep on engaging on Discord. Then they get rewarded when they receive a certain level. So this is a function of Me6 as well. And then the auto mod, when you sometimes you say bad words, you send links and you send Discord server invites, so you can get blocked because of the auto mod function of Me6. So I'll discuss this one by one. So this one, custom bot. Yeah, this is an example. So with the custom bot, when you create this custom bot for Me6, when Me6 posts anything in your behalf, as example here, an embed message, it will say the name of the custom bot that you named and then the picture. Right? Some they don't want this, so they retain the Me6 name, but I don't like the name of Me6. I want it to be custom to each project. Yeah, like for this one, yeah, we set this up like that. Okay. So how you set this custom bot? Okay. So go to Discord's developer portal, then application, and then go to this one, discord.com developers application. Log in with your Discord, or if this is not already the case, just press this one, new application button. Okay. And then just give a name to your application, then press create. Okay. And then there will be some settings on the left when you already created that. You just select bot and then add bot. All right. And then it will create the bot, but then you need to set it up or configure it. So the intents, these intents, I usually just enable the presence intent, this one, and the server members intent. So there are three here actually. Then you just save changes. Okay. And then you will to set it up on the Me6, of course, you will need to link it to the Me6 dashboard. Okay, you need the token that identifies that that is the bot that you will connect to that dashboard of the project. So you just click on bot and then click to reveal token, then just copy the secret token. So the secret token is named secret token because you don't want to share it to other server admins because they might be able to revise your bot, rename your bot, etc. And change the settings in the Me6 dashboard, so which is really bad. Okay, so don't share it, just keep it to yourself and save it. Okay, so a welcome message that I've example. So this is the Me6 dashboard. Okay, so welcome message is this setting here. Then you can always put and indicate a welcome message channel and then put a welcome message here. So here we use some codes as well to put the name and then the name of the server. For example, here I put up some custom welcome card for them and put some background and nice welcoming messages like here. So you just set it up this way, it becomes the welcome, a nice welcome channel message. Every time someone joins in, yeah, this is the one. And it's not only a wild carrot appeared, something like that. Okay. And then for the welcome message as well, I don't usually set this up to welcome members in a direct message. So I disable this send message to new users, and I also disable give role to new users and send a message when user leaves the server. So I just let this to be disabled. Okay. With reaction roles, this is the example that I've told you. You need to react by clicking in this button and you will get a verified role. So usually this is called or termed as verification gating. So to disable some bots from coming in. But then Of course, the bots are able to adapt. So that's why we utilize different verification measures and not no longer this one. But of course, if you want the server to be welcoming, etc., or this is just a basic server that you don't think that bots will come in, you can always just do these reaction roles. And these things also are being utilized. For example, you want community members to select language. So they will click on their country flag, and then they will be given as a role for the international channels wherein they can chat there. So you can also do these reaction roles. So the term reaction roles is because when you click on here, you will give them a role. So you will be assigning them a role. So how to do that? Okay, so you set this up. You put the verification channel wherein this reaction message will be sent. So this one is a whole embed message. So you just put here, example, the title, etc. Then the message template. So this is the body of the message. And then this is the icon you want to put, and also a footer graphic if you want. Just for aesthetics, okay, you still put this here. And then at the bottom of the Mi6 dashboard, you can add a role, of course. So example, you want to select an emoji, so you add this reaction and choose this emoji. So if you want people to click on a check, click on emoji and then click select role. Then, you assign a role that will be given when they click this reaction. If not a reaction, you can add it as a button. So you can name that button and put a label on it. Example, click me. So if they click on that, they will be given a role. So yeah. So once they are given a role, they they will be able to see some channels because you set that up on the permissions. So yeah, this is how verification gating works. This is the most basic verification gating, which is called reaction roles. Okay, so these are the samples of the embeds that I showed you. So this is are relatively better looking than the other ones, right? So you just use the embeds function of the Mi6. Then you can add nice photos like this one, and then this one as well for the footer image. Then if you want, there's a footer message here as well, like this one. You put this one on the footer. Okay, so this is on the dashboard of the Mi6 website embeds. Okay, so with Mi6 Premium, you will have a lot of quantity of embeds available. But if you're not on premium, you can only have one embed. That's the problem with non-premium Mi6. Okay. So this is the social media integration. So this is what it looks like actually. And then on the dashboard, this is where you can click on it and then set it up. Like for here, you can choose Twitter, for example. You click on Twitter and then new Twitter account. Then you set up the account that would be followed and then where it would be posted. Like for here, you set it on the to be posted on Twitter feed channel, and then this is the actual message that will be sent to everyone when there's a new tweet. And then you just search for the Twitter user that is to be followed. So you at here you put at and then the name of or the social handle on Twitter for the project. So here I put NFT Power Up, for example. So every time this Twitter account that I followed sends a tweet, it automatically appears in the Discord channel as well. So this is a Mi6 premium function that I'm utilizing. With levels, okay, so some people they chat and gain XP, etc. So they use this levels function in Mi6, okay. So the level up announcement, I usually put it on a custom channel and not on a general chat to avoid looking like spam. And then I announce these things on the ranking channel that I usually set up. And this is also where I ask people to type in the commands to check their ranks. So it's all in one there. Okay. Then this is the usual setup for these levels. So I usually tend to stack the previous rewards. And then you can also put some role rewards. For example, you want people to have a special reward that gives them special access to some channels when they reach a certain level. So for example, here I gave an insider role when a user reaches level 10, so we utilize this role rewards. And then role rewards type, remove the role reward when player is demoted. You can also put that there. And then you can also, when people tries to check their rank, there is a server rank card, so you can customize it with this one. You can put some photos so it looks nice, and you can change the colors. Okay. Then the XP rate, you can, by default, this is by times one. But then if you want to make it easier, you can set it higher so they level up faster, but this is not required. And you can make it harder by setting it lower. And then here, this is really important. You identify the no XP roles. So for me, I usually just enable XP roles on general public channels. But then in channels wherein you expect some people to be able to spam, like example with Gartic bot, whenever there are games, they can spam there, right? And then also if you have a shield channel, spam channel, you don't want those messages to count. You can allow all roles to gain XP except then add those channels, which are the exceptions. Okay. Okay, and this one also, this is for roles, sorry. Allow all roles to gain XP except, for example, just the admins. Okay. But then this is the channels. Yeah, sorry. So allow for all channels except here, Gartic bot, quiz, music bot, track invites. So people in track invites channel, they just type slash track invites slash invites. So this should not be counted. Okay. And then here, if you want to enable commands, so people will know the levels with this command and the rank with this command, you can enable or disable. With the give XP, remove XP, these are premium functions that I don't usually use as well. But depends on you if you want. Okay. Okay. With the auto mod, okay, with the auto moderator. So this is where we set up the blocking of example bad words, repeated text, server invites, external links, excessive caps, excessive emojis, Zalgo, excessive mentions, excessive spoilers, anti-spam, etc. So for me, since I already disabled the mentions, so I no longer need this message. But then, if example, an admin will do that excessive mention, you still need this one. So I usually put the delete message only. Okay. Then with bad words, I use different bot for this one. So I disable this one. Okay. And then external links, of course, I utilize Mi6 as the primary blocker for links. So I delete message and warn member with this one. Then repeated text, server invites, I use these settings as well. Okay, so here you can set up auto moderator to ignore and don't affect other bots, because sometimes you expect these bots to send some links. So if example you do, you can set this up like this one. But if not, you want it to be inclusive and to be affected as well, of course, as just as a security measure in case the bot gets hacked. So these things happen. So you can disable this one as well. So you can assess based on your needs and preference. But then if someone gets some violation, for example, someone said bad words, okay, you can automate a moderation function like a penalty. Like here, you can assign and add automated action to mute, auto kick, auto ban, auto temporary mute, or temporary ban. But then, of course, depends on you. So as for my case, we utilize the moderators to perform these functions, because we don't want, people just getting kicked, getting banned just because of some things done by the bot. Okay. With restricted channels, you can set up some channels to be, able to receive only images or videos only or commands only, and the bot can delete other messages outside of this. You can set it up here. And then you can set up to inform the users that, example, their message got deleted by the bot. You can set that up here. for here, replying the channel, I don't set this up because it will be spammy in the channels. Okay. With here, the external link, server invites, and bad words, for example. This is just a sample setup. Okay. So for external links, so everything is denied except on these channels. So these channels that we deem that we need to send some links. Okay, so here plug your socials and then some admin channels. And then examples of this NFT stories channel wherein we ask people to send their entries coming in from Twitter, wherein these are stories of the NFTs that they created on their own. Then you can also allow in general some domains or some websites using this function. Allowed websites, so twitter.com, tenor.com. So tenor.com is if you see the on the general chat, for example, you click on the GIF button. So if you did not put this one, it will be blocked. So the GIFs that you send are usually coming in from links within Discord. So they can be blocked by the bot if you don't put this one. So I usually put this one, tenor.com. But then this one, allow Discord links. You, of course, I don't like to allow. But then if you want, you can set this up this that you allow it. Okay. Then with the server invites, okay, everything is denied. Okay, so you don't if you don't want any promotion of other servers in your server, you can put this up. But if you have a shield channel, you can put an exception and then add here shield channel. So this is where you allow the server invites to happen. Okay. With the bad words filtering, you can set up to be, denied for all roles. Or if you want to not to deny to the core team or to the moderators, you can add here deny for all roles except the following roles. Or if you have an NSFW channel or something channel that you deem that you would want to allow bad words to happen, you can put here as an exception. And then here, the additional settings. So because Discord sometimes it's with the music sometimes it doesn't capture all. Like example, if you are a Filipino, it doesn't capture the Filipino bad language. You can put here, like you put the exact match or just match any part of the word. You can set it up, and it will be blocked. So I use this function as well because I'm a Filipino and I know some Filipino language. Okay. So we're nearly done. So I need to get this done quickly. So if you want that some of your roles will not be auto moderated with this admin tab, you can whitelist them somehow. Like these roles, you want them to be able to not be moderated. Okay. And with audit logging, this is where, example, something happens, you want to see as an admin. So for me here, I create a filter logs channel. So I see any moderation events that I set up and enable here. So here, these are just the things that I want to see: the muted, unmuted, ban, unban, invite posted. So I see some things that I block. But then the others, I don't like to see it. So it depends on you, on your preference for this one. Okay. Uh-huh. So yeah, with these things, sledgehammer and Pandes guard. So I think I'll just include this on the next course because we're already more than an hour here. Yeah. So in the next course, I'll be discussing sledgehammer, Pandes guard, and also this one, weak bot full configuration. This is the hardest bot so far to set up for me. And then other bot configurations, music, fun bots, RSS feed bots, wherein we get some news coming in from other news platforms. Okay, and then alpha bot for giveaways, for example, invite tracker, server stats, tickets, how do you set up the tickets bot, and some token gating and crypto price tracking bots. Yeah, so that's it for this session. It's too long. Sorry. So any questions so far, guys? How to set Mi6 auto delete links. Yeah, I showed you here. Yeah, just to repeat. Okay, where is that? Okay, here. Mi6 auto mode, on auto mode, external links. Okay, and then delete message and warm member. All right. So this is how you auto delete links. And then with server invites, so this is really important. Server Discord invites. So here. So server invites from Discord servers and external links here. So this is really a nice function that you need. So usually other bots I don't like the link blocking features. So I really like Mi6. So this is really powerful. It just uses this one and this one. It will automatically block the server. So you can have the option to kick people who send this. So there are selections here in the external links, down drop down button and server invites. Okay. Is it safe to give admin role to some bots? I have given some bots that I gave needed permissions but still aren't working. So yeah, you can, for me, I create the bot permission for all bots and add them with those permissions. So I don't you can identify, for example, for me, what I usually do is I create some bots who's needing admin roles. Usually Dismi6 in Weakbot and Pandes Guardbot, for example. So they need these permissions for admin to work properly. So since they are trusted bots, I create a separate role for them. But then, for example, just for bots like this one, RSS feed games bot, you don't need admin functions for this to work properly. So don't give them. So you can create different bot cat roles depending on the type of bot. But then if you are really sure, that's why I ask you to just at the start check the official bots on Top GG website and check the reviews. Number one, check the star rating, the votes rating, because that way you can check if these are legitimate bots or not. So that's the first step, and that's the most important step actually, because if you use a bot that is, fake, it can be used by the bot creators to somehow gain access to your server and hack your server. So it's not really advisable to give all bots all permissions. You identify them based on, how you trust this bot, number one. And then if it's really needed for those bots to really function well, you give them this admin roles. But if not, no. Okay. But then in general, you can also create, example, you want to make your life easy and then just specify each bot afterwards. You just can create a specific, this one, bot role and then put these things. Okay. See here, I don't put administrator function on the general bots. Okay. But then if that bot needs one, so identify those kinds of bots. Usually these are for the security bots to function very well. They need the admin. So yeah, just identify those bots and create separate roles for them. So do not put it all in one bot. Okay. And then with weak bot, this one, because sometimes sabotage can happen coming in from other moderators or some admins you put. So this is why controlling the giving of roles as a founder or server owner is really important. We can have a protection for that. This is called nuke activity. So we can have anti-nuke functions with the weak bot. So next topic I'll discuss about this one. So how would we be able to avoid that? So example, Carrot here, he suddenly wants to sabotage. So he wants to sabotage. So with weak bot, even if he does that, you can have some safety because Wickbot will be able to, if he wants to delete the server, he will not be able to do that with the Wickbot. And then if you want to kick many members, he cannot kick all, cannot delete all channels simultaneously because of the weak protection. Okay. So yeah, the other question is there recordings of previous lessons? Yes, there is. So we have the Token Minds channel, Academy channel. So these are forum channels you can check on NFT Marketing channel. Okay, so this one, I'll reply to you so you see. Okay. So there, NFT Golda, so NFT Marketing channel you can check. There are already two lessons that we've put there. So as long as it's already in server level, no need to manually set it up. Yes. As long as it's in the middle. So with the Discord server, right? There is like on the left it's rejection of the permission. In the middle it's like neutral. So if you place it on neutral, it will follow the server level security settings. Can we have access on the slides? Yeah, you can. The slides. I have not uploaded this yet. So yeah, maybe I can put the slides on the forum post as well. All right. Any other questions, guys, so far? Okay. So I tried to shorten this seminar because I know it's long, but it's still long. I'm sorry. Yeah. Any other questions, guys, before we end? So yeah, on Monday or Tuesday next week, hopefully I'll be discussing the part 2 continuation of this seminar. But then on Thursday, we will have another one. So in the first three topics, we've had NFT marketing, right? So on the next ones, we will be coming in for our development team. So this will be things related to IT, blockchain development, or NFT development. So if you are a developer, software guy, you can definitely try to join on Thursday. So 6 p.m. we will have another webinar, but then for development side. Okay. So if there's no more questions, guys, I would like to thank you for attending today. Yeah. And yeah, so hopefully we see you again on the next topic. So we will be uploading this copy of this webinar. Don't worry. So just check on the forum posts and then invite your friends here who you deem that are interested in NFT marketing, web3 marketing in general, then in development as well, and community. All right. So if example you're an aspiring moderator or an admin, of course sometimes a moderator gets tasked to set up a server, so it's best to know these things rather than checking out on YouTube, etc. Right? So this one is really better. Like coming in from our own experiences with having different clients, you can see how we set up the server, yeah, and why we did it this way. Are we going to have certificates? Actually, yeah, I will be discussing and I'll be announcing some point mechanics, and then yeah, since this is actually a course, so if you are able to complete the course, but then we will discuss in future the mechanics of how. So you will receive actual certificates. Yeah. So it's really best that you come here. Yeah. So we will be announcing the information regarding that. Okay. So any other questions, guys? Thank you for this. I'll be fixing some of my permissions for the bot. I will wait for the lesson to be dropped. Yeah, so our content manager actually she's recording now. She's XYZYZ. So she's recording now, so she will upload these things and then I'll post it here on Discord once it's already edited and ready to be uploaded. Okay. So thank you guys. Yeah. So any other before we finish? Anchor, anything?
I think, yeah, for me it's all good. So, guys, if you don't have any further questions, right, you can also left us, right, or what you care about, like any further questions in the general chat. We are always happy to reply you from our moderators and Chris and me as well. And as Chris said, we'll have another session possibly Thursday this week about development. So looking forward to seeing you again. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So if you got confused anything, guys, just let me know in the general chat or in even in the Token Minds Academy. Yeah. So thank you guys and see you again on Thursday for the development lesson care of our development manager. Yeah. Bye bye.